So, Brent, you told us some things about yourself in the bio. Some interesting things. Why don't we just go ahead and share with them? One of them was maybe the craziest thing you've ever done.
All right. Well, what I did is I sent him a bio and just some weird stuff about me, but I shared about one of the crazy things that I've done. We were goofing around and we decided with my friend that we would take a bus for a joyride. So it was not just a regular bus, but it was like a really big, like a giant bus, you know, like this kind of a bus. And so my friend decided that he goes, yeah, we should drive it. And I thought it was a good idea. I go, you know what, I'm going to get on top and I'm going to surf it. So, you know, and then I decided, you know what, I think it'd be really fun to run on top of it. So what I did is he was driving down the road. I just started taking off and I was running. And the thing is, I didn't realize when you run on a metal box, it makes a lot of noise. So when he was driving, he just hears boom, boom, boom. And he locks his brakes, and I just got launched. So I went over the top, and then I landed on the hood, and then he stopped completely, and then I disappeared, and he was like, where are you going? And then I jumped up, I was like, here I am! So that was probably the craziest thing I've ever done.
Oh my goodness. Where is this abundance of available buses to joyride? And then maybe you told us something about your kids. What happened there?
Right. So I was laying in bed with my son the other day. We just hang out in bed and we just talk, shut the lights off, and just lay in bed and talk. So he's in 7th grade now, and we were laughing a couple days ago. We were like, remember that one time you were like 3 and you were eating, you were eating in bed, and like we're talking. I'm like, Karen. I go, are you eating something? He goes, yeah. I go, what are you eating? He goes, rice. And I go, rice? We get rice. He goes, from the bottom of my foot. And I was like, 3 hours ago, you were running around wearing these shoes and picking up dog hair. I go, that's pretty nasty. So, one of my kids' stories, and I guess they take out food at times. So.
Well, that sounds a lot easier than packing a lunch. All right, well, give it up for Brent.
You guys, I'm so glad to see you guys. It's really exciting for me. It's good to see some familiar faces. You guys, I was hanging out in my backyard today. It's like we have this garden. I was just a landscape architect. So I chill back there and have a quiet time. And I do kind of random stuff at times. I was thinking about time as a whole. And some of the mystery of time is that sometimes it can be so mundane and so normal that we can just easily ignore it. And there's other times when time is so incredible, there's something so defining about one moment that it changes the very trajectory and plants an implant, just impresses upon your soul. It changes your life forever. I was thinking about those mundane moments. If you ever stop to think about it, 1/3 of our life is spent sleeping. So if you think about 8 hours a day, you think about our whole lifetime, 1/3 of it is gone by just sleeping. So you guys might be like 10% because you guys are probably going crazy, but for like old fogies like me, I'm like more like 30%. You think about going to school and work, probably, I don't know, a good 20% of our lives are spent working, going to school, traveling to and fro. And then maybe another good 20% is just buying food, preparing food, eating food, cleaning up after food, that kind of stuff. Taking showers, paying bills, doing email, checking Facebook, doing some gaming, you know, whatever. It's like you think about our lives as a whole. Most of our lives are filled with the mundane. But when I think about you guys and where you're at, you guys are at one of those defining moments in your life. This is not a moment, I mean, you guys, if you're a freshman here, you guys are probably going through a lot, your head is spinning, you're disorientated, and just know that's totally normal. I felt that big time. But the thing is, not to escape the fact that this is a defining moment in your life. I was thinking about some of the facts and some of the things that go into this, and I was reading that 85% of church kids stop going to church once they hit college. Now that fact alone just says a lot, 85%. So if you were to look to your right, and my left, you know, like 1.5 of you guys would still continue to go to church. I don't know what 0.5 is, but, and probably you guys are not part of that group so much, because I mean, you made it here, you're interested, you showed up. But it just reflects that there's a lot that happens in the college years that impact our future. 75% of people who trust Christ before 21. You know what's crazy? Just think if you got your acceptance letter from that other college and you decided to go to that other college rather than UCI. You would be in a different dorm, you would have a different roommate, you would interact with other people. And it's kind of a weird thought that the people that you know now, you would have never known. And maybe the people that you work with in your majors, you'll get to know them. Maybe you'll start dating, maybe you'll marry one of them. Maybe if you get married, that person will be your best man or your maid of honor. These are the kind of people, because you guys decided to be at UCI, these are the kind of people that you will know perhaps for the rest of your life. So I graduated from college like a super long time ago, but I'm still connected with my college buddies. Those are all defining moments these are moments that take us into a total different direction and trajectory in our life. And that's what I kind of wanted to share about a little bit today. So I grew up in a Christian home and went to a Christian school. When I got to college, I remember sitting in the dorms and everyone's like, oh, Brent, you know, try to live a good moral life, get involved in a Christian club, go to church and stuff like that. And you could tell I was kind of, you know, I was rebellious in my own way. You know, I was like surfer guy and like to smoke weed and ride buses and that kind of stuff. But so like everyone's like, okay, Brent, try to turn over a new leaf, be a good kid, all that stuff. And I remember I go, okay, the first weekend they had this massive cake party at Pismo, and they had this bonfire, everybody in the whole dorm just disappeared. They're like, yeah, let's go. And I was like, oh, I do not want to go to a cake party right now. I don't need that right now. So I just go, I'm going to stay home, and everyone's like, come on. And I go, oh no, I'm going to stay home. So I was sitting in my dorm, I was laying on my bed, and it was so quiet. I mean, the dorm rooms usually, I mean, the halls are usually people running up and making noise. I was laying on my bed, and I could hear the fluorescent lights humming. You know, it's just like, yeah, kind of hear them now. But it was kind of like that, and it was just dead silent. And I remember sitting there, and I was thinking, God, this is what it means to be a Christian. You know, why should I try to follow you if this is what I get? And so I began during that time to really question God a lot. And I think if things didn't turn around, I would have easily been part of that 85% that were checked out. But I began to ask myself, I wonder if I just believe because my parents believe. I wonder if a God really does exist. I wonder if there is a heaven and a hell. And I wonder if our soul lasts for eternity in one of these places. I was thinking, you know, if anyone I don't want to lie to, I don't want to lie to myself. I don't want to, you know, say I believe something and yet have my life completely disconnected to what I say I believe. And so during that year, I got involved in a lot of different clubs. I started talking to a lot of people. And I didn't get all my questions answered, but I got to a point where I said, Lord, I want you to be the Lord of my life. I want you to be central. And so some of you guys might have questions, and I think that's totally normal for all of us. But I think all of us got to get to a point where we say, do I really believe what I say I believe? You know, for that time, I was living in the worst of both worlds. I couldn't really enjoy God because I was living in blatant resistance, and, you know, it's like God doesn't want me going out smoking weed, so I was just like, you know, or doing stuff I was living totally contrary to what he would want me to, so I was disconnected from him. And the other side, when I was doing stuff, I felt guilty because I just knew in my heart that what I was doing was wrong. So I wasn't enjoying, say, my sin. I wasn't enjoying the world. I was living the worst of both worlds. At a certain point, when you guys think about your life, think through, where am I on this spectrum? And what do I believe is true? You know, during that time, I think back now, and I think it's sad to think that I look back at my soul, and I think that was the time when I feel I was truly lost. Because life revolved around me. It revolved around my comfort, my ease, my happiness, and what God could give me to make me more like that. So I chose a little bit of God here, a little bit of God, but then when it became difficult, when I had to make choices, I just said, bail on it, okay? Because I want the best of Christianity, but I'm not willing to really make those sacrifices to do that. So when you think about belief, I always wonder, do I really believe? Because growing up in a Christian household, I knew things about God. I could say all kinds of theology. I did things for God, but I really never knew God. I said that I believed. Like they said, are you a Christian? Do you believe in the Bible? Do you believe all these things? But the thing is, when someone says, I believe, that means they are willing to say, act upon it. That it's supposed to change their lives. So, you know, when you guys, you think about this new year, think about those kind of questions. Do you believe? Do you believe in God? Do you believe that your soul lasts forever? And how is that reflected in how you live? It's like going to a doctor and saying, I have a broken arm, and he says, this is what I want you to do. I believe in the doctor that it's true. But then I walk around all the time with my arm not in a cast. I really don't, in a sense, believe. You know, perhaps the hardest things for sincere Christians is to come to grips with this level of real unbelief in our lives. You know, being in ministry, one of my greatest challenges is not so much to convince non-Christians to believe in God, but my biggest challenge is to convince Christians that God is real. Like many times it's very easy to say, I believe in God, but God is totally absent or distant from anything that I really believe is true. You know, sometimes I don't think we don't make it too hard to believe, but we make it too easy to believe. So what happens is when it's too easy, we can pop in and out of a religion. As soon as it gets easier or hard, we can come in and out. We can use God like a genie and say, God, I ask you for all these things. Give me this, give me this. And when he doesn't give it to us the way we like, we get mad at him. Or when we confess our sins, we feel horrible about it, and we say, God, forgive our sins. But I realize that I ask for confession, and I ask God to forgive my sins, not so much about offending a holy God, but more because I was feeling lousy about myself, I was feeling guilty, and I wanted to get this guilt off my back so I could feel good about myself again. So much of my life was about me, and it wasn't about God. So things that I believed in were not really areas that I really lived out. Let me just step back for a second. There's a bunch of stuff that I really don't like to do. It's true confessions. I don't necessarily like to floss my teeth. It's like I'm tired at nighttime. I want to go to bed, and I'm like sit there for 30 seconds and floss my teeth. Sometimes I get a really bad attitude about it. And I don't like working out. I used to be like Mr. Athlete, like triathlete and all that stuff, but now I'm just like, I'm over that phase. And I don't like working out. You know, it's too hot outside. I don't feel like running, you know, that kind of stuff. And I don't like it. I resent the fact that people tell me to stop drinking sugary soda. I don't like that. So, you know, there's a bunch of stuff in my life that I don't want to do. But you know what? I floss my teeth, and I brush my teeth, and I take a shower, and I clean my room, and I pay the bills. And the concept here is there's a lot of things that I don't want to do, but I do them. So the saying goes, I do what I don't want to do, so that I can be who I really want to be. I do things that I don't want to do so that I can be the person I really want to be. See, that takes a lot of courage, that takes a lot of guts, that takes a lot of proactive living to say, you know what, I'm not just going to be captured by what's in front of me, but I have a bigger goal, and I'm willing to sacrifice to take my lumps for something greater. So what do we want in life? At the end of our lives, when we die, do we want our life to be surrounded by us, to be thinking about us, and college to be all about us? You know, our lives are not big enough to be consumed with ourselves. You know, to be just stuck on my happiness or my ease, it's not going to help us at all. You know, it's just not good for us. So when we go into the stage, the temptation for a lot of Christians is going into the should phase. Okay? Well, I should have quiet time. I should show up to a weekly meeting. I should go to church. I should read my Bible. I should stop doing this or that. Okay? And you think about that word should and how many times we say it every day. If you stop and think about it, it's, put it in the long way. I don't really want to do something, but I feel this moral obligation to do it from some external force that I don't want to do it, but I do it resistantly. Oh man, I should do this. I should do this. I really don't want to do it, but I feel some obligation to do this. So when we think about the Christian life, we think about belief, we think about making those hard choices. Just because I don't like to floss my teeth, I'll still do it. But the thing is, I say, you know what? Flossing my teeth is really hard, and I don't always feel like it, but I'm choosing to floss my teeth. Okay, that's a really weird example. I don't know, it's like not really good, but it's like I'm willing to do these things, and it's a choice. So my parents say, oh, you should get involved in a Christian club. You should read your Bible. You should stay morally pure. You should do this. And it's like, you know what? Even though it's difficult, I'm going to choose to do that. That's what it means to stop being a child and become an adult. Like taking that responsibility and saying, you know what? I'm going to make this choice myself. This may be difficult. You may have a weekly meeting with some of the clubs and just go, you know, I'm tired today. I've got homework. I've got, you know, I just don't feel like being social. You know, I'm tired of the small talk and going places I don't know. But the thing is, you say, it's difficult, but I do things that I don't want to do so that I can be the person I really want to be. And I'm willing to step into that and stay in that. So I hope that you guys continue to have that perseverance, you know, that willing to take some pain in terms of what we believe and not just to be moved by ease or comfort or our own happiness. It's like to live really well is to make some of those hard choices. Matthew 10:39, it says, those who have found their life, their soul, shall lose it, while those who have lost their life for my sake shall find it. And whoever aims to save their life shall lose it. Whoever loses their life for my sake shall find it. For what have you gained by possessing the entire world if it is in the process you forfeit your own soul? If you were to gain the whole world but forfeit your own soul. And I was like thinking about this. I was thinking about bringing a lot of money and saying, what would you guys, how much can I give you guys so that you would give me your soul? $5, $10, $100, $1,000. What would you trade it? $10,000? What's your threshold? You know? And you guys would go, oh, forget that. You know, I'm not going to give my soul for nothing. But you think about it, every single day we make choices here and there. It's like a glance, a look, a choice. There's all kinds of ways that we sell our soul just a little bit each and every day. And as we do that, it starts to add up and add up. And it becomes, after a while, it becomes who we are. So we give our soul every day to much lesser things and even vile things. And yet we can say we value our soul. We value who we are.